Welcome everybody to today's webinar on video hacks that will drive performance. Let's see here. I'm so happy and excited that you decided to spend this this moment with me. Thank you for joining, for signing up, keep showing up. I appreciate you, we appreciate you. So today we're going to talk video, a lot of video. We're obviously going to look at Storykit videos because that's how I make them. Hopefully this will be applicable and inspirational and useful for you regardless of what video tool you're using. But let me, I hope, nay, my screen sharing is paused. Why? Resume. Yeah, 2023, working for a tech company, but I hope you can see my screen now. If not, please write a short comment, or as long as you want to comment in the Q&A. But we started out. Nay, here. Okay, this is today's webinar. I'm sorry, guys. Video hacks that drive performance. We're going to talk Storykit videos, of course. Yes, we can see it. Thank you for thank you, Anonymous, for letting me know. I'm going to show you how to make videos in Storykit. Hopefully, as I said, this will be useful if you're whichever tool you use. But we are here today just to talk hacks. How can you make them look better, get your message across? I want to start off with, as usual, just giving you an understanding of who's talking. And that's me. My name is Heidi Bordal. I work as a community manager at Storykit. I handle the distribution of content on our social channels. So the great stuff that our content manager Maddie does, the articles that she writes, the blog posts, the reports, they're not supposed to just collect dust on our website. So that's where I come in and hopefully get more eyes on it by distributing it on social. And the way that I prefer to do it is by using video. So that's me. I've been in the company for 2.5 years. Started out in linguistics, which was fun, but marketing is even more fun. And this is the agenda for today, what we'll cover. I'm going to talk briefly about the video pitfalls that can lead to bad performance. And we'll go through what they are and how to avoid them. I've not, this is of course a duplicate from the last webinar, so the 90-10 rule and how you can use it. We're not going to discuss that. I'm sorry, I forgot to take that away. I can mention it though, so that you get all of the stuff from the agenda. But we're going to talk about how to refine your scripts, to create impactful narratives. I mean, how you write your video and to get the best possible outcome, to really get your message across. I think most of you have an understanding of how you create videos in Storykit, because we're a text-based tool. So you start out with your text and then you add assets, as we call them, images and video clips to enhance your message and to make it more visually appealing. So we'll talk a bit about which assets to use and what you should use less of. And then, of course, a step-by-step walkthrough to put this all into action. And we'll end the webinar with a Q&A. And talking about what separates a good video from a bad one is difficult because there's so many ways to create good videos, so many ways to create bad ones. I've made so many bad videos throughout these 2.5 years. So but discussing it, I mean, that becomes a bit abstract. So today is going to be videos. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'll do my best at least. And before we dive into the video making and video talking, I would love to invite you to our Facebook community. We are a group of enthusiastic enablers at this company that want to just share our knowledge and inspire you and give you some best practices and just share some cool updates from the platforms and some insights on just social media. So please join Video for Social Media. That's the Facebook group name. We're 3,600 members or so. Lots of Storykit users. So, but regardless if you're a user or not, please join. But why are we here today? Well, it's because I speak for myself here, but also I know that this is a common fact among the people that decide to join the Storykit community by becoming users, is that a bunch of us, we jump onto this video bandwagon, and we're excited about all of the great videos that we're going to create. And we have this, of course, vision of the cool stuff that we're going to produce and how much better they're going to perform and how much more like impressions and shares and comments we're going to get. But a lot of us also find that the videos and the results that we were expecting are a little bit underwhelming. And why is that? Why does that happen? Well, I think maybe not most of all, but among most of all, is that if you ask a marketer, like what goals do you have? Well, I think a lot of marketers jump directly to well, of course, like I want to communicate our brand, I want to communicate our vision, I want to highlight our products. But it's often very connected to the business objectives. And that's true. I mean, we should have those in mind, of course, all this. But I think it's very important that you have a clear goal, not something like, oh, this video is going to bring me so many leads, or we're going to book so many meetings because of this specific video, but a clear small goal just to identify what you want the viewer of the video to understand, learn, get entertained. Setting those small goals for each and every little video, it doesn't have to be complicated. We're going to go through that. Is really what I think drives performance best. And then when we start out, we see video as something very complex, complicated. People still consider video as this huge Premiere Pro, After Effects production, but we consider video more as a distribution format. I've been talking a lot about distribution throughout this webinar series, but sometimes it's video, it's the big productions that you will need an agency for, but it's also just a little video made for distributing something. And when we start to define our message that we want the video to have, we're writers, all of marketers are writers. So we write a video like we're writing a text post or a report. And that can get not only text heavy, but it will make the message more complex because it's not suitable for video. And of course, that we haven't learned yet how to leverage the visual video elements, because we jump on this perhaps Storykit bandwagon and think that you need the cool graphics and the animations, or this is what my video is about, so I'm gonna visualize the message. And we do that a bit too much. And we're gonna talk about that also later. It is difficult, as I said in the beginning, to talk about bad versus good. So that is why I want to show you what I mean. So we're going to just more or less go through a bunch of videos. I'll show you what I've once done that wasn't really performing and what I've started to do since. And just, I think that has meant a lot for our social channels. It's just becoming a better video writer and a better visualizer. And I want you to be that too. So there's a golden rule that we talk a lot about at Storykit, because people, I mean, as marketers, we want to talk about so many different things to as many people as possible. We we think sometimes that we only have one chance to explain to a lot of people something about our product, or we want to cram as much of a report into one video because we only got this one chance. But that seldom works out good. So this is a bad example of how we've tried to talk to as many people as possible in one short video. But instead of trying to talk to CEO, marketers, and stakeholders at once, we make one video for CEOs. We make one video for marketers. And this seems like it's a lot of work, but it doesn't have to be, because it's so easy to duplicate one video and just change the wording. And you might then think, well, what if a marketer stumbles across my video and it's for the CEOs? Are they going to stop following me? No, they're not. As long as you have that good mix and you make sure that you create a little bit for marketers and a little bit for the CEOs, you're going to be fine, because we're so used to being like overwhelmed, more or less, with ads and messages all day on social. So our brain is going to instantly understand if this is for us, and if not, it's going to keep on scrolling. If you have a target audience that is more or less only CEOs, and you start talking to marketers as well, well, then maybe a few CEOs are going to think, this isn't for me. I missed the way they spoke to me before. But with time, that will only mean that the people that actually follow you and listens to your messages and sees your messages is going to resonate with them even more. And that's going to make your audience even more suitable and better for you. So we did this instead. We changed some wordings to only talk about marketers. And some of these examples that you're going to see today, my intention is, of course, not to, like, as we say in Swedish at least, write you on the nose. Some of these examples are going to be very obvious, but I want to give you an idea of what I mean, and hopefully it will make enough sense as we go when I'm talking about it. I also have a tendency to ramble, but so just, I was about to say stop me, but you can't. Sorry about that. So the golden rule is one message, one audience, one video. And the only way to come around not having a lot of messages in one video and talking to a lot of audiences is making a lot of video. But you know that that's what we're all about. And we want to start with an impact, because you know the saying that, well, I don't think it's even 3 seconds anymore that we have to catch the audience's attention. I think it's like 0.3 seconds or something right now. Since, isn't there like a saying that we're exposed to more messages in one day now than people were in 1 year 30 years ago? It's crazy. So start with a bang, start with a hook. And I love intros. I think intros are nice. I think it's I used to see them as cognitive placeholders. Because if someone's scrolling, if I'm scrolling on social, I like the fact that when I click on something, or when a video starts to play, or I'm about to read a post, if I immediately understand what that video is about, I can decide for myself if I want to spend time watching it. So headlines are good, but headings aren't always good. So instead of just saying, I took this from WizOwl's marketing state of marketing report. Instead of saying that exactly this is what the video is about, there are other ways to grab attention for short videos. So instead I did this. I started with a hook, and that can be an inspiring quote, some interesting stats and numbers, or a thought-provoking idea. And I'm not saying we should be provoking people just for the sake of provoking, but claiming something that everyone perhaps doesn't disagree with is very powerful. And then you can elaborate in your video or in your text post. So instead, I started off with this fascinating number that 95% of video marketers has claimed that video helps them reach increased brand awareness. It's a little bit more, it sparks not emotion perhaps, but our brains likes numbers. So instead of just saying this video is about this report, we grab viewers with an eye-catching slide instead. Of course, we want to keep it simple, because this is, I don't want to call it a mistake, because keeping it not simple doesn't mean that you're doing a bad job. But there is a pitfall that a lot of us tend to get into. As I was saying before, we want to tell people as much stuff as we can, because we want to share our insights and all of our knowledge that we're sitting on. That's like, I want to make one video and share everything that I talked about in this webinar, but that's going to be a lot of text, and that's going to be a lot of messages, and it's going to take a good while for someone to watch all of that. This was it's a case study that we made a couple of weeks ago with Grünenthal, and we just more or less grabbed the first body of text in the case study and shoved it in, because the text itself is really good. I mean, it gives a good idea of what kind of company Grünenthal is and how they wanted to elaborate on their video production and increase their productivity. But it takes up a lot of time for us to go through that whole paragraph, and it gets overwhelming. So instead of just shoving in as much text as possible, oh yeah, I have this down on here. Oh no, it's okay. We sliced it up more or less, spread it out, because more slides, a lot of people might think that more slides in one video will make that will mean that you lose the viewer, because how can you expect someone to spend 10 seconds watching a video when they could have just gotten all of that text in 7 seconds? But it's much more consumable, it's much more digestible. So you're doing the viewer a favor by slicing it up and spreading the message out. It will be better. It will get better. So keep it simple. I try to only do like a couple of, I do one sentence per slide. And if you feel like you need a comma to divide your sentence to make it more comprehensible, do it, separate it, divide it into 2 slides instead. try not to make it too text heavy. And stay active. And I don't mean, well, we should all stay active, of course, in our lives. But here I'm talking about the difference between an active and a passive voice. And maybe that we haven't talked about active and passive voice since we were in middle school, but the person that you're talking to, or let's see, 5 years of linguistic studies, and I can't even phrase active and passive voice. We'll come back to that later if you have a short description of the difference. But put the viewer and your audience in first perspective all the time. Make them the active subject of what you're talking about. It's always much clearer and simpler, instead of this person is the one. From the previous video, it said, if you join us, you will make video and communication a lot easier. But now I changed it. You will use fewer words, which is good, and you'll get more precise, and you will put the viewer in the moment instead of yourself. Because you know what they say, that the most powerful and effective pronoun that you can use when you talk to people is you. So you and your are the best words to use. You know this because you are marketers and you're communicators. But I think it's easy to get a bit lost, because when you're writing a longer text, a passive voice might actually be powerful in a longer text, but not in video. Guide your viewers. And this is what I meant perhaps the most about how to set a clear goal for each video, because the viewer is going to want to know what to do next after watching your video, after consuming your post. I don't always use call to actions, because sometimes I do a longer video with the whole message comes across. Here's a 5-point list of 5 ways to become a better marketer, or something like that. And then I will just give people the list. It's no clicks. You're not going to have to click somewhere to read a full article. I mean, it's in feed, consumable videos. They don't need a call to action. But if you're trying to get people to read an article or a report, or download something from your website, or to sign up for something, a super clear call to action is, I think, crucial, because you will leave the viewer confused if not. And talking about writing someone on the nose, this is when you really can write someone on the nose. If you want people to download something, send them to that link. If you want people to, if you only made a video for people to follow you, add the follow button, write somewhere in the call to action that follow. Again, you know all this, you're the experts, but I hope you consider these as just friendly reminders. So you saw the previous video. It had a call to action that just said, get 10 times more followers now, but instead I did this. And these are both, article promoters, made for click-through. I started off with a quote, because quotes are probably the most powerful thing that you can start with. And just a couple of slides to give people an idea of what your article about, lead with value, all of that. So guide people to what you want them to do. And now we're going to talk about assets. I think it's very common Because if you come from a place where you see video as the complex, heavy, advanced video editing software kind of place, I mean, what separates Storykit from a lot of other video editing tools is that in an advanced video tool, you will base your video out from the visuals that you have. And then you add the text to maybe emphasize what your visuals are, what the video clips are about. In Storykit, you start from your text and then you add the visuals to emphasize and enhance your message. So it's very common that we make a video about let's say I work at a company that handles pensions. Should really have chosen something that I know how to pronounce. But you know, when people retire, maybe it's time for me. Kidding. If I work at a company that handles retirements and people's pension money, let's call it that, I think it's common that people use assets. Sorry, I have to start over because this was a really bad example. Okay, we'll talk it through. Since we live in a social world that is most of all silent. Unless you're on TikTok or YouTube, the videos that you get exposed to on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, they're gonna start autoplay silently, because we watch videos everywhere that we perhaps shouldn't. We scroll our LinkedIns when we're in meetings, at the bus on our way to work, on the train, at the family dinner. And if that would start to play with sound on, people would immediately jump out of the platform. So in this silent feed, your message, your script is really what is the most important. So I made a video about LinkedIn. And I see on social that people use a lot of assets that is almost synonymous to what they're talking about. But that will often lead to confusion, because that will confuse the viewer as to knowing if they should read the message, read the script, or if they should watch what's going on behind the text. Because, okay, so I saw that this video is about LinkedIn and there's a lot going on in the background. Am I supposed to keep track of all of the LinkedIn logos that's running around? Nay, you don't have to, because you want people to read your message, to understand what you're talking about. So what I do is that I keep it very easygoing in the background. I sometimes use what I call loud assets when I want to an eye catcher, like something popped up in my feed. What is this? But since I'm talking now about in this video, AI-powered optimization for LinkedIn users, I want to give people the idea that if you watch this video, you will get 3 cool insights, and that will make you less stressed about how to approach your LinkedIn in 2024. So I've chosen calm assets. We talk a lot about productivity and how to leverage what you already have. If I would put a lot of splashy, cool things in the background of my text, I think I would just enhance the message that marketers has a lot to do and that we want to leverage every platform. So instead, I keep it kind of cool. I want to give people the idea and the feeling that they can sit back and relax and watch my video. And keep the assets, of course, consistent with your tone and message. And this is something that we, of course, like we figure out as we go, as we make more videos. But I think that it's always better to find, I mean, if your script is good enough, which of course it is, you could use any type of assets in the background. I mean, you could have a white text on a black background, because that's what people are going to remember. It's what you're saying. So use whatever you want. No. I talk a lot about productivity and marketing in my videos, but then I can have assets that are like drone images from a nice forest, or a woman doing some yoga, because I just want some visually appealing assets in the background for just aesthetics, not to use the assets to hammer in the message. I think we make ourselves a favor if we just try to harmonize the appearance. And of course, keep it on brand. Branding is probably more important than ever, since we live in this super busy feed. So without a consistent branding, you're going to get lost in the feed. And when we make videos day in and day out, yes, we do get a little, not sick of our brand, but we know it so well. We've seen it so many times. We live the brand. We spend 10 hours a day talking about our brand and looking at our brand. But your audience doesn't. So making it recognizable, and making it, I think recognizable is the best word. So here I just grabbed an asset from the stock library, and it's gray and green, and that's not really our colors, but we added a duotone to keep it consistent with our brand, which is very dark blue. Create a memorable visual identity. Some colors go hand in hand with the brand, because they're so recognizable. And keeping it consistent also fosters trust, because they feel comfortable and they trust you because they know that it's coming from you and not from someone else. It's less confusing. And of course, with time, people will get to know you so that you will actually stand out in this very busy feed. So keep it on brand, be consistent with the placement and the colors of your logo. Use your brand colors, and don't go so much overboard and thinking that today is going to be fun mixing it up with some pink if your brand is blue. Keep it on brand. It will make you more trustworthy, and the viewers are going to appreciate it. So let's talk assets again. And from this point of view, I'm talking more about the enormous amount of assets that come with Storykit. I mean, there are millions of them. They're a lot of times hard to find. You can use the AI to give you options. But I mean, sometimes I spend 7 minutes making a video, and I'm going to use 4 of them to find the assets that I want. You search, you use some keywords, and there's so many options that you get lost. So I made this video about 5 proven strategies for successful B2B marketing, and my list is divided. First, there's like a headline of what the bullet point itself, and then there's some text to really to give the bullet a context. And for each and every slide, each and every single piece of text, I've chosen different assets, and that can be cool. I mean, oh, there's a lot going on here. I like the different assets; they look good. but it's very easy to get lost of in what the video is about, and it just maybe there's a little bit too much happening since this is a longer video of a list. So instead of doing that, try to create a smooth flow by grouping assets. And it's not going to be boring because your message is still interesting. And this is what I was talking about before, I think, don't let the assets compete with your message. They're going to compete with each other if too much is happening in the background and the viewer won't know if it's the asset or the text that's telling the story. And your message will be strong enough because you've crafted out this message. You've used the content that you already have on your website, in your blog, in your article. And that piece of text is already a good piece of text. So you can use as boring assets as you like. I see that we have a question. Anton asks, can we get the presentation afterwards? Of course you can. We will send out the presentation afterwards. So let's see. Okay, I've tried to summarize what I've been talking about. But one video, one message. That's probably the most important thing. Don't try to talk to too many people at once. Don't try to deliver several messages at once. Fewer slide types for a clear message. There's so many options in Storykit. Sometimes we feel like, oh, I want to mix it up with using one bubble text and one fade text and one prompter slide. But I like to stick to a few to make it recognizable, but also to just get the message across, and also so that the slide types doesn't compete with the assets and that the asset doesn't compete with the message. Fewer assets will save you both time and it will make it less look like a PowerPoint. This was something that actually I got these. It was me and my colleague Emma Hjalmarsson that included these, and she was talking about still images. Yeah, but as I said, we will send this out afterwards. So now it's time to actually, I will want to show you how it's done. And just as we make a video together, I will talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Another question. Sandra asks, how to find cool videos, easy background, slow motion. Which keywords do you enter? Thank you, Sandra, for your questions of how to find cool videos. So I like to search for, I actually search a lot for just using the keyword modern, because I don't know how Video Blocks and Pexels and Unsplash categorize what's modern, but that's one of my favorite ways to search. Sometimes I search for abstract. That gives you a lot of cool, not patterns, but easygoing, smooth, just a little bit of movement in the background. Abstract. I like to search for relax. Since I talk a lot about, or we more or less only talk about marketing and video creation and social media, I like to use, I like to search for scrolling, smartphone, laptop, people working. So of course, it all depends a bit on what your video is going to be about, but the easy backgrounds, the coffee cup that does a circle, that's one of my favorites. The person running on the desert, those are, well, it's coffee cup. People love coffee, so that's a good search term. Running, because you can find a lot of slow motion videos there. Eric asks, I'm multitasking while listening, but would be especially interested if you would show complete videos, including audio. Well, I'll make sure to do that when we've created a video. Thank you, Eric. And same Eric asks, please post a direct link to the social media Facebook group. Absolutely. I searched for it and ended up with Facebook in Russian. I'm going to include a link to you. Tracy asks, are there specific typefaces that perform better than others? Typefaces. My English is, as you can hear, my second language, so I'm not really sure what typefaces are, Tracy. Would you care to elaborate? So I would love to ask your, the font. Your font works best for you. Whatever brand font we use Helvetica because we want to convey the idea of simplicity, because we want to keep our own brand a little bit in the background, because we're a product made for other companies. So we don't want to use very special fonts, because we hope that we want to convey the idea that Storykit is something that you use and not something that is supposed to take over, if that makes sense. But your own font, the one that you've chosen, that's what works best. That's what will give you the recognizability in the feed. Someone anonymous asks, is it confusing if I use assets that does not have anything to do with the message? For example, a video showing trees while the message is about healthcare. I love this question, because I firmly believe that no. If you're talking, especially if you're talking about something like healthcare, I would definitely use assets as people at the beach, or just waves, or as you write yourself, showing trees, because healthcare is about, I mean, of course, like being healthy. How do we get healthy? We spend time in the forest. We go to the beach to enjoy our family and friends. If you're talking about making your gut feeling better, I mean, assets of like fruits are amazing. So no, I would not say that it's confusing, rather the opposite, that it gives the sense of zen and healthcare, about feeling relaxed because you're being healthy. I love that question. I hope I make sense. But I will stop to share for a minute so that I will start to share the right screen. Correct screen, I mean. I'm going to share my desktop now as we jump into Storykit. So my idea was that I will be creating a video today using our AI. I've chosen a article that my colleague Maddie wrote about adapting to X's shift, meaning X previously known as Twitter. They just recently did an update, which is that if you post a link to Twitter, it's gonna show you a really ugly thumbnail, more or less. I'm going to show you, because I think this is very interesting. Something that I won't stop talking about is the fact that we should never post links on social media, because links drive people away from platforms, and the platforms does not like that. And videos will always be boosted, because the more time people spend looking at a screen at a platform, the more it will be boosted by a platform. So here I just posted a link to an article, and they removed the headlines. because they don't want us to post links. So this is what it looks like. Now, the viewer gets zero idea of what this article is about. It's cropped in a very weird way. So instead, I post a video. And since I posted a video together with a link, it will show my video. And the link is up there instead. So post links if you want to, but include another distribution format. That's the best thing you can do. So this shift that is now an era of headline-free news on social media, that's what this article is about. And I'm going to create a video to distribute that. So I will just copy paste this URL to the blog post. I will click new video, you know this perhaps, new script, AI creator, website URL. It's gonna go to this website and grab the content. I think it's worth mentioning that what separates the Storykit AI from a lot of other AI is that it will only use your own text as the script. So it's not going to get out online and try to find other things about Twitter/X. It's only going to use your article as the input prompt. So you never have to worry about that your message isn't on brand, that the message is not your own, you're in control. This is a productive AI. It allows us to quickly produce videos. I have run out of time, but please stay with me if you want to. We can do 3 takeaways from this article. I create the script. I warned you, I am a bit of a rambler. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get better. But I hope that you want to stay with me for a while. Okay, so it grabbed the AI, took the text, and grabbed 3 takeaways from this video. So here they are. There's a shift from traditional article headlines, and it presents an opportunity for publishers to get creative and ensure their content continues to engage readers. I can just click on view storyboard, so it gives me an idea of how long this video is going to be. I have in this project asset library already included some assets, and as I said before, I make a lot of videos about social media, so I have people consuming social media as it looks like. I'll create this storyboard, and I want it to be consistent with my brand, even further than this outline that I was given. So I'm going to well, I like this headline. That looks on brand for me. I'm gonna make the frame color also white, just to give it a comprehensive look. And now I'm going to search for some assets so that you get an idea of what I mean. These are the ones that I've imported before. But my idea here is that the shift that's been made by X to give us a headline-free social media can feel stressful for marketers. So I want to give the idea of don't be stressed. We got you. You can make videos instead and distribute your links with. So I can search for landscape. And then please let me know if you feel like that doesn't make any sense, that you're talking about Twitter/X. And you have a asset of someone climbing a mountain, but I think it looks pretty nice, so I'm going to. It gave me the main text large because that's default, but I'm gonna use medium today. because I love the medium font. I think it looks good. Boost visibility. Okay, so now I want something that enhances the message of a visibility. What could that be? Any ideas? Hit me up. Visibility, you get more eyes on something. You want to reach out to a lot of people. How about society? Lots of people. This could become a little bit busy in the feed. Let's have a look at this one. Oi, they were happy. Okay, that was a bit, not cringe, but almost. I'm gonna head over to my other projects to see if I've chosen something nice recently that I can reuse, because I think you can use 5 assets for every video. Boost visibility. So here you get a good idea of what I use the most. So a lot of landscapes, people looking modern. And I started out with a guy climbing I can use this with the balloons. Here we go. I am going to put a border on that and take down the opacity. Just to give some, not to make it too much of a hard plate. I can do the same. And of course, since I have 3 takeaways, I want to have the same slide for every headline, because that will be recognizable and you can do whatever you want, but I think consistency is key. That if I've used a border and a less plate opacity on these headlines, I'm gonna have it on everyone. Choose this to medium. I'll do the same here. Oh, it's already 54. Using can quickly create videos for the articles. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna remove this. Embrace video on X and reach your full potential. Since I've given the takeaways from the blog article, I don't need this is to be consumed in feed. So the call to action here is more of a let's do it kind. And we're going to create it, and then we will watch it, just as Eric asked, if he's still around, of course. I guess a lot of you are heading out to lunch, so I hope you have a, oh no. I hope you have a great lunch hour eventually, unless you've already had it, depending on where you are in the world, or maybe it's still morning for you. Question. Oh, Eric gives me thumbs up. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. As always, it's always a bit slower when you are screen sharing and feeling nervous. But soon we will have the video and I will show you what I know. Oy. What happens here? Isn't it ironic that this happens when I'm in a webinar and never when I'm by myself? Okay. Now, let's see. Quick water break. And as I said, we will send out the presentation and the recording afterwards, so you can watch it whenever you want again, or if you want to show it to someone else, maybe. Oh, it has chosen a song for me, so let's see what it is. This one's 46 seconds long, so it gives like the whole scope of the article. So if we want people to stay at the platform, we can give them more. Up to 60 seconds, 70 seconds is great for longer storytelling on LinkedIn, according to LinkedIn. If you're making ads or article trailers, 10 seconds will do. And also, like, this music, if you can hear it, just a nice to have. So there we are. We've been watching a lot of videos today, so I hope you feel inspired to go make some yourself. Question from Rosa. Thank you, Heidi. Can you once again share your Facebook group page? Of course. There wasn't an audio, but I will. Now I'm doing two things at the same time. I heard the music. It's not. Thank you again. I'll see you around. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Please join the group. All of that, you know. Okay. I'll see you. Bye. Thank you.